Good morning, my beloved rainbow warrior, bird tribe, angels out there, earth guardians of the light, great spirit. How are you? Parts of the great spirit in the divine dance as individual beings. Oh gosh, so I'm Michelle Infinity, and this is a astrological / energetic broadcast of the emergency broadcasting system. So how is everybody? How are we all doing? It's a Capricorn full moon, and I've titled this Working with Compassion and Understanding. Gosh, we have a lot of Capricorn energy is all about work, and it's all about focusing on work and what our sacred action is, which is what I mentioned in the last video. But in the Capricorn new moon, it was more about what is the dream of our sacred action and how are we going to, now I feel it's more about how are we going to do our sacred action. So it's actually in the small tasks. It's actually in the, which, is sometimes not as easy or not as fun to do. They can be daunting. These tasks are the little managerial stuff that we have to do in order to accomplish our big, rich dreams. And I feel that a lot of our Rainbow Warrior Tribe spirits, we have a gift. We have this ethereal, we have many gifts. And we have these ethereal qualities that we are called to bring down into the mundane, bring down into the earth. A lot of the healers, we all get the same programming. We all get the same message. We want to create temples on the earth. We want to infiltrate the system that exists with sacred geometry and sacred and ancient ways. And but it takes grounding and it takes practicality and it takes this duality of doing our sacred action and softening our hearts with compassion in order to do them with a better, more gentler approach, perhaps. So I feel like this next 2 weeks is going to be a very productive cycle for all of us. We get to do our sacred duty. We get to, now that we know what our vision is, how are we going to implement it? What can we bring to the table? Who do we need to call? What emails do we need to write? What specific tasks do we need to do to make it actually happen, to ground it on the earth? I wrote a beautiful question, and it says, how do we, in each small action that we undertake, bring the magic and bring the love and allow love to be our guide and lead us into building this new reality that we know is possible, creating this new consciousness and creating this world together? So this is a question that I want us to all ask ourselves during this full moon, and then to take those sacred actions, to take our duties, to go to the next step. Because what we are really doing right now, so the harvest time is fall, right? So we will be soon reaping the rewards of everything we've been cultivating this whole year. And so as we are cleaning up, we're cleaning up this energy. Mars is like in the last little bit of being in the Scorpio constellation. And that's been all year, and it went retrograde. So it's since January. So I want you guys to think of all the things that you've been purging and working on, because Scorpio has been about a deeper kind of going into your own guts, and cleaning up, sorting out, bringing forward all this energy that we've been, the year itself was the year of purification, and the Mars cycle was like the big thing about this year. And now we're in the tail end of it being through Scorpio, which means that as it moves into Sagittarius, with the new moon on August 2nd, the new moon in Leo on August 2nd, there's going to be a huge energy shift, but it's also a completion of this huge Mars-like retrograde that's been like 8 months, It started going direct again at the end of last month, but then, when things move forward and backwards, it's like they pick up steam. So that's the reason why there's always like these transformational cycles, and then there's always this not lag time, but transition period. So we're in this last little bit of transition period, cleaning up or coming through with what we need to do and to create in order to move forward in August, and then consciously reap the benefits in the fall of what we are sowing. So another question I want to ask you guys is like, what are you consciously sowing the seeds of that you will reap the benefit of in the fall, in the harvest time, and even for the next year to come? So what have you been planting the seeds of that you are ready to bring into fruition for yourself? Um, yeah, so I want you to ask that. The other thing that I want to talk about is paying attention to life. So life presents us all the time, being present in our lives and listening for the next right action, the next right message, the next right step is super important. And I've been starting to do this in a totally new way where I'm taking notes and I'm listening. And for me, it's been yoga. Um, so, God, I was a yoga teacher for several years at the beginning of the first wave of ascension, right? And I stopped being a yoga teacher for like a few reasons. One of them is there's a lot of this. There's so just like any scene that you're in, there's positive. Just like anything that you have to do in our lives, there's positives and negatives. Any sacred action that you have to take, any job that you do, there's going to be positives and there's going to be negatives to that job because we live in this world of duality. But the harmony is realizing that the dual is one. And so if you can perceive the things that you don't particularly like about the job or you don't particularly like about the culture as and you can forgive them and you can be compassionate towards them, like there were certain things in the yoga scene where I needed to, and for my own growth, I needed to retract from so I could find myself in my true alignment of who I was. And now that I've done that, I'm being asked to step out more in as a yoga teacher and recognize that I have a gift for that language, because everything that we do, every sacred action that we have is a language, and what sacred actions that we take, what reaches people, what is the magic that we have that we get to infiltrate the society with as sacred warriors. And for me, it's really, I have to respect that the language of yoga allows me to cultivate a healing quality, a healing energy that people need. So I'm asking all of my other fellow Rainbow Warrior tribe, what is the universe telling you that you need to cultivate? That what is the gift that you are being presented with at the end of this big cycle that is like, okay, so step into your power now and do it in this way. Use the medicine that you have and then carry that medicine with you and bring it forth on your journey in order to enrich your life and also the lives of others. Because I think that we're all being presented with what our gifts are. What is our truth? And what is the medicine that we bring and that we carry? Like I said in the last video, I'm going on a journey soon and I'm just starting to plan it and do the diligent work of the plotting, which is not as much fun as the dream of I'm going on a vision, but it's a vision quest. Now I'm going to, but it is good because that duality, because the responsible actions that we take, the foundations that we build, they help us create the new life that we know is possible. They help us co-create this earth that we know is possible. They help us do our sacred duty and do our sacred action. And that is the reason why we incarnated. So we have to, manage our finances and we have to pay attention to our strategy in order to enrich our lives so that we can have the more and more blossoming. And it's just like in yoga. If you pay attention to the foundation of a pose, right, where your hands and your feet are, if your feet are on the mat, and the more that you root down, the more lift that you get, the more rise that you get, the more expression that you can have in order to be your fullest self, the more grounded that you are. So as everything speeds up, I want us to practice being grounded and practice taking time for meditation and ritual and just enjoy your life. That's the last thing I'll say is that, oh, and one more thing. An astrological tip for this full moon is Uranus is square the sun, and everybody talks about how that can cause some chaos. Uranus is the great awakener. The energy of Uranus is like lightning, so there can be surprises or shocks Um, but I see it as more like a, I don't know, like see what, let me tune in for a second. What would that mean? See what is new that is being introduced into your life that you can incorporate and then dance with. And how can you dance with whatever new energy is being surprised or gifted to you? And maybe it's good, you know, like let's think of something that could be um, and also truths being revealed, you know, like maybe it's a good thing. It's always a good thing. That's what I'm noticing. We can't run away from stuff. It's always go right into it with your heart and know that you can sustain and that you have the courage in order to do it. And when you do that, when you face things head on, it's like the worry and the illusions disappear. So that's my message. I love you guys so much, and it's so grateful to be here. It's so grateful to be present and to be able to communicate and share my gifts with you. And then the last thing I'll say, I'm going to start mentioning this more, is that because I mentioned it on a podcast, I do two podcasts. I do The Way of Conscious Mindfulness, which I have links in my YouTube. I'm going to do a little channel for that so you guys can see those episodes. And I also do Paradigm Shift Central Team Hangouts, which I love so much. But I mentioned on a podcast that I do readings. And they didn't even know, my co-host didn't know, oh, you do readings. So I'm saying to my Rainbow Warrior family and those who watch this video, I do readings, and as I go on the road, I would love to do readings from the road and again share my gifts and my medicine with the world, and also it's our sacred duty, and I'm really noticing this now, and I knew that this was coming, but it's so potent. It's our sacred duty to practice our gifts and to cultivate our gifts. So yoga, doing readings for people, counseling, coaching, intuitive guidance, whatever you want to call it. If you would like one of those readings, if you would like me to speak with you about your journey or whatever if what I'm saying resonates with you and you want me to help guide your way on, I have a gift for that and I would be more than happy to. The information is on my website at infiniteeverything.net. You can reach out to me, you can speak to me in the comments below this video, and we will get in touch and we will make it happen. And it would be a joy to connect with some of you who are watching this, because that's what life is all about, is this grand beauty, this interweb that we have, and this connection to each other. That is the highest that we have. So, all right, I'm done. Blessings to all of you, Rainbow Warrior Tribe. I love you so much. In love, light, and warrior spirit, this is Michelle Infinity. Aho, namaste, and so it is.